Hello everyone, this is a simple demonstration of a small utility that I wrote solving a problem that probably almost nobody has, but that I really wanted solved. So Windows for some reason does not allow you to attach folders to the taskbar in the bottom of the screen. For instance, this folder right here, where I keep my GitHub repos, if I were to copy this and say try to create a shortcut for it, do that here on the desktop. If I try to add this to my taskbar down here, you can see it does say pin to File Explorer, but there's no way to actually get it to pin to the taskbar itself. And if I let go, it will then pin to the folder icon, at which point you need to right click and look through it, and then you can find it here. Now, this isn't a terrible solution, but it's certainly not the solution that I want, and I don't want to have to look and read through a list. If I had a lot of folders in here, it's a waste of time trying to look through this. That's just not what I'm looking to do. I really want to just pin that folder right here so that I can click on my GitHub repos and open them. Another thing that you might try to do is, let's say you have the folder itself, and you just try to click and drag the folder itself to the taskbar. Well, the same thing happens. It's just going to get added to the pinned folder menu, and you're not going to be able to click on just that icon. So what I want to be able to do is actually add a icon here on my taskbar that when I click it will open my GitHub repositories. And I couldn't find a way to really do that in an easy manner. I looked at doing it maybe through some batch scripts or some PowerShell scripts, and in the end I decided to make a Python utility that would simply compile an executable that would launch a folder. And that's exactly what Simple Folder Launcher does. It's just a utility that allows you to specify a path. In my case, that's going to be this GitHub or this Git folder here that I usually keep my repositories in, and allows you to create an executable, and executables can be dragged to the taskbar, so you will be able to launch those. Now, one caveat to this is that I think the first time you run an unknown executable, like the one that we're about to build or that I'm about to show being built, Windows Defender might flag it as like an unsigned utility. So the very first time you run it, you may get something. However, that hasn't been my experience, and usually any executable that I create on my system itself, since it's already on my system, somehow Windows Defender seems to know that I created this executable on my machine and does not flag it, but your mileage may vary. So let's just look at how we might go ahead and deal with this issue. I'm going to go ahead and go to the GitHub repository. That is github.com, Seth Stenzel, that's me, simple folder launcher. I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL there, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up a terminal. I'm just going to go ahead and do a git clone here and paste that into here. We can see that that has now shown up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and open this with VS Code. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is a little bit of a power user solution. You're going to have to know just a little bit about software development in order to do this. You're going to have Python installed on your system. This isn't really that hard of a thing to do, but if you're new and you just wanted an easy solution, I don't necessarily have one for you at this time. I did think about making the utility a little more flexible, and maybe in the future I'll make something that's more configurable for somebody, but I figure the amount of people that really want to do this is probably pretty small, and you can probably get through doing this yourself if you need to. You just need to make sure that Python is installed on your system from python.org, which is not very difficult. Lots of tutorials on YouTube for that, and then kind of walk through the instructions here on the GitHub README. That's exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and open up a terminal here. So inside the menu here, I'm going to go New Terminal. And the first thing that I'm going to do is create a virtual environment. You don't really need to know that much about what that is. Just know that it's sort of an isolated environment for what you're doing on your system. And I'm going to do that by doing Python, and we're going to make sure that Python is installed on my system by doing python -- version. And sure enough, you can see here that I have Python 3.12.0 installed on my system. So we know that this is going to work fairly reasonably. I'm going to go ahead and do Python and then do -m, venv, venv. What this is going to do is create a folder inside the directory here of my GitHub repository. Well, it will in just a moment here. There it is. And that's going to be the virtual environment that I'm going to use and install my Python packages to. And then I'm going to switch to that environment by doing venv scripts, and then activate. I'm going to hit enter. And you're going to see that this virtual environment has been activated, and you can see that with this little prefix here at the start, venv. And then I'm going to go python-m pip. This is just a Python package manager. And I'm going to go install -r, and then I'm going to point it towards this requirements file right here. This requirements file is going to be all the packages that we are going to install. Looks like, oh, had a phone call in the middle of that, so some magic of editing. Hopefully that'll be fixed away in post there. So we've gone ahead and I'm going to go ahead and install my requirements. And this is going to take probably a minute or two as all of the requirements files get downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and continue the video once that's completed. Alright, and that's gone ahead and completed. You really don't need to worry about this warning down here. Don't worry, the pip folks are always doing updates. Great work, guys, but you will always get this message pretty much. If it's been, it seems like just a few days since the last time you did it. So, good job, guys. Once this is installed, you should be good to go to launch the utility. What you're going to do is you're going to type Python, and then not batch. I'm not sure why it auto-completed a batch since I don't have python.batch in here, but that's okay. And then type in builder. So python.builder, and that's going to launch this builder script right here. And after that, it's pretty straightforward. So you're going to get this little menu right here, and all you're going to do is name your launcher. This is going to be the actual name of the file. For me, I'm going to go ahead and input GitHub project. I'm just going to put git projects launcher. Actually, I'm just going to say folder there. And then the path that we want here is going to be the GitHub path that we had before. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I could just go ahead and do choose launch folder as well. I suppose that's probably easier. I could go up one directory and then up one more directory and select my Git directory, and that'll go ahead and be placed in there. And if you go ahead and hit build now, you can go ahead and build this, and it's going to have the same icon as the simple folder launcher icon. But if you want to choose a custom icon, you can go ahead and choose icon file. Now there are some icons that I have in here. These were some free icons. You can see the attributions if you want to know where they came from. There's also a link inside the icon folders to a couple of places online where you can get more free icons. But for me in here, I have Git because that was primarily what I wanted to do, is launch my Git folder. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this teal version of the Git icon and hit OK, or hit open. And I'll go ahead and populate it in there. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit build executable now. You are going to see a message saying to select an output. For me, I'm going to go ahead and place this in my documents folder. You will have to place this executable somewhere on your machine that you'll then drag it to your taskbar. I'm going to go ahead and just put it into my documents folder. And this is again going to take, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes as PyInstaller compiles the script into a single executable and places it there. You're going to get a little pop-up message. So I'm going to pause the video for just a moment until that happens. Okay, and here you can see there's that executable created successfully. We're going to hit OK, and that's going to go ahead and close. Now if I go ahead and go to Documents now, you'll see that there is a new executable, and it's got the icon that we would expect it to have. That's the one that we just created. And if I double click on this, it will go ahead and launch my Git folder. You can see there that it launched. So now that that's done, the only thing left to really do is take this executable and drag it down to my taskbar. And sure enough, there we go. We can see now that we have a taskbar icon. I'm going to go ahead and just close out this window because we don't really need any of these anymore. That when I go ahead and click it, is just going to go ahead and open up my GitHub repositories folder, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. It really just points to some folder location and lets you create an executable that will launch that folder location. It could be adapted to a few other different things, so maybe take a look at that if that's what you want to do. And in the future, I might try to make it a little bit more customizable or do some other features with it. But for the time being, this is good enough for me and covers my use cases 100%. Hopefully that was useful to somebody. I know I have seen a few other folks posting online on Reddit and a few Microsoft forums looking to do this and wanting to do this and not having to deal with the right-click menu of the Explorer um, app here at the bottom. But yeah, hopefully you find it useful. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. If you do end up finding this useful or end up using it, I'd love to hear a comment down below. If for some reason you feel like this would be a great project for you to contribute to, I know it's a very simple, small project, and that could be great. There's no tests for this yet, and you could easily add a few different things to this. You could make it so it does more than just folders, or yeah, add tests to it. Felt like doing that. All right, guys. You have a great day.